Welcome to the second half of day one of the Silence of the Jams Roller Derby tournament presented by Gotham Roller Derby. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We got a world-class matchup for you today. We're going to see two bouts this afternoon, and the first is two of the top-ranked teams of the Northeast region of the Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association. Meet me in St. Louis, the arch rival, versus the new skids on the block, who are already doing their second bout of the day.
Need water?
So I'm going to give you some lineups while we're waiting for them to get on the track. All right, let's talk about the arch rival roller derby. We're going to see 1057, Who Needs He-Man, and She-Ra Powers. We're going to see 14, Okie Dokie Annie Oakley, it's Loki Dokie. Number 18, Bum 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 Bum, Slaytoven. 1853, Put You in a Starry Night, it's Vicious Van Gogh. 1900 leaves you in a shroud of mystery, Cloak and Dragger. 23 flies with attitude because it's Pegasus. For 27, well, hello there. It's R2 Destroy You. For 32, golly gosh, shucks and sheesh. For number 39, they're an atom smasher. It's Evie. 48, hail the grand leader. It's Bricktator. 5, 6, 7, they'll flatten you. It's Splatter. 618, if they don't scare you, no evil thing will. It's Cruella. 68, first name ain't Ron, it's Swanson. 718, they're not just Lux Fast, they're Lux Furious. 77, it's got the devil in them, Donna Diablo. 810, part of the old family, the K Woodward. 89, ooh, Barracuda, it's Heart. 904, Kicker, she's Irish, it's Aaron Goberol. 911, past the applesauce, we got Pork Chop Slamwich. And 96, she don't get what she wants, she throws a tempo tantrum. And then, you've seen them earlier today, but they're back for more. The Montreal new skids on the block. 008 Low Rider. Number 03, you'll see him on every ballot there is. Grayson. 1017, it's no BS with this skater, Bigley Smalls. 103, X gonna give it to you, MX Merker. Number 13, they stay on the tracks. Number 16, guard your chest. It's Booby Puncher. Number 182, got you on the run because Jamie's got a gun. Number 1916, it means nothing, it's nada. 275, up there where in your part of your world, it's Merman. 289, say when, it's Cheese Grater. 357, don't get short on your vitamin C, Wybro Citrus. 444, for the power of Grayskull, She-Ra Shakes. She got the feet of a dancer, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's Gruesome Gracie. Hit you with the tidal wave of force, number 658, it's Surge. Hold down B, number 66, Falcon Punch. It might have choked Artie, but it won't choke me. Number 85, Artsy Choke. They're out there skating in the bedroom. It's number 913, or party 87, Motley Crude. It's more than just a birthmark. It's 913, Blue Butt. This skate is very explosive. 999, KT Kaboom. And Eat My Shorts. 9999. Maj Moy Elko. All right, so we're going to see a premier matchup. Montreal dominated in their first game this morning versus Minnesota, but don't you think they're going to be slow on their feet. They are ready to go double games. Meanwhile, arch rival is coming in, looking to continue its dominance and its glory. Arch rival wants to make sure when this is all said and done, not only are they number one in the Northeast region, but for the next champs that comes up, they got a ticket to ride. Thank you all for tuning in for this Twitch. We're going to be very excited for this two bouts we're going to see this afternoon. All right. So as the action is underway, arch rivals jammer up and around the track, engaging. Meanwhile, new skids on the block getting pulled to the back. Arch rival to the front of the pack and on the outside of the track is trying to fight their way through. In the meantime, Wybro Citrus for new skids out of the back of the pack. Scoring round for Arch. No score yet for new kids. 4-0 in favor of Arch rival. They're trying to keep that pack together. Citrus trying to get up quickly before it means that they'd have to let arch rival go. Forced out of bounds, everyone's going back to the back. We're going from halfway through back to turn one. Oh boy, they know how to pull him back. So Swanson, who's jamming for arch rival, is going through trying to get their second scoring pass, but has been pushed back out of bounds. Well, and that's that. Our first jam is done. Arch rival is going to finish with 8, and Montreal is going to finish with 4. No, pardon me. They're only giving... Wait a second. Yeah, I was right. 8. For a second, the scoreboard person said otherwise, but no, I was right. It's 8-4. Heck of a first jam, huh? For jam 2, we're going to have Bricktator going up against MX Merrick. So both of them are getting caught up in the middle of the pack, trying to find where there's some daylight. Both of them stamping their feet, marching their feet. You'd expect that out of a Bricktator. MX Merrick's, they're no slouch neither. Ooh, tough defense so far from both of the blockers groups. MX Merrick stuck a little bit further behind, with Bricktator pushing a little further ahead, but both are being stonewalled by some very tough tri-walls. We tried to get a jailbreak there for a minute, but it didn't work out. We're still stuck. Wow, what incredible work from Bricktator, but unable to get out of the pack. Cycling back around, re-engaging everywhere they go. Meanwhile, MX Merrick has been completely stonewalled in the back. Now they've gotten a little head of steam and are fighting a little harder, but we have our lead jammer for arch rival, 2 jams in a row, and in this case, it's Bricktator. Hail the fearless leader. Bricktator coming around turn 2, engaging with the pack, unable to get by on the inside, and will have to loop back around. They're letting MX Merrick go, so as they come around turn 1, Bricktator stops, bodies up MX Merrick, decides to let them go, and they are engaged. Interesting strategy from arch rival on that one. Tiptoes the outside of the line, but can't quite make it for Bricktator. Meanwhile, MX Merrick engaging with the front of the pack and trying to push their way through, finds an inside track and is able to take advantage of it. And with that, the jam is over. 4 for Montreal, none for arch rival. Not sure why arch rival didn't call it off once they saw MX Merrick come around, but you know, everybody's got to. Oh, they're gonna award tree to arch rival. All right, so it's 11-8. All right, but still, that was a net plus for Montreal. I don't know what. Well, they all got their strategies. All right, coming to the line for new skids is Mermaid, and then busting through immediately. Ooh, Barracuda. It's Hart. Hart is coming around and engaging with the pack. Mermat has gotten out themselves and is coming around. That's going to force Hart to call it. Hart picks up a quick 3, ends it. It's 14-8 in favor of arch rival. So very eventful first 3 jams so far in this bout against 2 of the heavy hitters of the WFTDA Northeast region. They're going to send Motley Crude, who did a great job jamming in Game 1 versus Minnesota. And Okie dokie Annie Oakley, here comes Loki Dokie. Jamming for arch rival. Both are getting jammed up at the line. Both are trying to find the inside or the outside. Nothing doing for Crude. They're in the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Loki Dokie spins their way out. There she goes, Loki Dokie. So, arch rival once again with lead jammer status. Taking it to Montreal to begin with when it comes to lead jammer. So the score is still close. 14-8 currently, Loki Dokie on a scoring pass. And there Loki Dokie goes, and there goes the 4 points, 18-8. Meanwhile, Motley Crude was able to get out of the pack. He's coming around. He's going to put a little pressure on Arch. Will Arch continue to not call it, or will they do a quick call? Let's see. They're engaged. Nope, they're not calling it. Arch rival likes to let it play, I see. Very interesting. Like I said, I do it out in St. Louis. They're good at this and they're good at ribs, huh? So they're engaged in the tri-wall at the front, and that's Loki Dokie, and in the back, Motley Crude tried the outside, didn't work, so found the inside. Scored some points. 18-12. Come out to the coast, have a few laughs. There goes Loki Dokie. That's 4 more. It's 22-12. Meanwhile, Motley Crude get caught up on the inside, has to go back as the arch rival is dragging them back. As we see here, Loki Dokie involved, engaged, turning the feet. They're going to have to let Loki go. There they go. Loki calling it after picking up the last 4. Montreal is able to pick up 3 themselves. 26-15. It's an 11-point game. Interesting strategy from March. They like to skate. They like to play. So instead of getting a quick 4 and calling it right now, early on, they're saying, let's just get points, huh? Points are important. Let's get points. 26-15 as we enter the 5th jam of the bout. All right. So we got pork chop sandwich versus White Bro Citrus. Making me hungry watching these two, huh? So pork chop, trying that outside, nothing doing. That allows Citrus to take advantage of the outside. They're through. Why, Bro Citrus is your lead jammer. First lead jammer for the Montreal New Skids on the block. Ooh, lost their balance there a little bit, but she's back on her feet. That is White Bro Citrus. Meanwhile, pork chop not able to get out of the box or the pack yet. Trying to force their way around the outside, didn't quite work. Engaged in the center toward the inside, but back onto the outside. They're on the top of their skates, really trying to push. Well, ooh, just when she thought she had it, pork chop got pushed out and has to go back around. Meanwhile, they have completely slowed down and shut down White Bro Citrus. Citrus can't find the open door, gets a break, help from Traz. So now, White Bro Citrus coming around, scored their 4 points, and look at the score, 4 more. There was the star pass. I believe it's Shira got the star now for arch rival. Ooh, Shira coming around fast, forcing White Bro to call it, but Shira able to pick up a couple of points. 26-19, so Montreal tightens it, but Arch is able to hold on to the lead. Eventful first lead jam for Montreal. 28-23, tight ball game, tight ball game. I believe they're telling us Swanson is jamming for Arch. Amex America's jamming for Montreal. MX, there they go. Churning their feet like a mad person. Meanwhile, Swanson, bodied up, coming around, gets right past. All right, Swanson's going to put the pressure on MX. Let's see if MX gets their hips around and calls it, or just lets it go. Yes, MX decides to call it, so that there are no points picked up by arch rival and 2 points picked up by Montreal. That's Montreal's strategy. You know how they do. You watched them all day. Should it be 30-25? I believe it should be. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It should be 28-25 because the points were picked up by Montreal. I was adding them to the wrong side of the ledger there. 28-25, tightening up this game. Mermad is going to go against Bricktator here. We've seen both of them jam so far in this bout, but this is the first time they're jamming against each other. Ooh, they shut down that wall for Mermad. Mermad got completely shut down on that one. Meanwhile, Bricktator toward the front, trying to push on the inside, trying to tiptoe, but can't make that happen. Has to get turned back around. Mermad pushing. Not finding a way. Bricktator finding the outside. Were they able to keep their skates in? Yes, they say they keep their skates in. You have your lead jammer. It's Bricktator. Bricktator coming to engage the pack. Meanwhile, Mermad not able to get out of the pack yet. Both jammers trying to find some daylight. Bricktator, are they able to stay in bounds? Yes, the ref says yes, you were fine. Go. 4 points. 32-25 in favor of arch rival. Meanwhile, Mermad taking the star off. Can they make the pass? No, Trax got distracted. Had to try to bump Bricktator out of bounds, so there was no pass being able to made, but Mermaid found her way out of the pack and around the track. Mermaid coming to inject. Arch rival decides, well, this time we will call it. Wow, what about 38-25 in favor of arch rival. Tough fought so far. So, as we stack them up, Motley Crude will once again be jamming for the Montreal, new skids. 89, Hart will be jamming for arch rival. Hart skating around, trying to find some daylight. But they got Hart pinned back there. They're not able to, well, there they go. Just as I say they're not able to find daylight, they get out into clean air. There goes Hart, coming around turn 4, engaging right at the starting line with the pack, snaking their way through, able to get it. Hart with 4 points. It's 42-25. Meanwhile, Motley Crude just not able to get out of that pack yet. With Motley stuck behind that 3 wall, Hart has a chance to score unimpeded, unrivaled, picks up those 4, making it 46-25. Arch starting to pad its lead here just slightly because New Skids find themselves unable to get out of the pack. Hart making a little jump there over the blocker's skate to make sure that they stay in bounds. Great job. Picking up points, 50-25. Hart not satisfied. They want more. They went down to the knees to get a survey of the lay of the land. They're going to the back, and they're going to get ready to score again. In the meantime, Motley Crude, they just have not been able to find the magic that they found in other jams and get out of that pack. Really being held up really tightly. Oh, Hart signaling to stop that jam once they realized they weren't going to be able to score any more than the last 3 that they grabbed. 53-25. So, really huge jam from Hart there. Biggest jam of the game, I believe, so far. Really incredible. Loki Doki's coming to the line for Arch. Bro Citrus is coming to the line for Montreal. Montreal needs some stuff. Whoa. Montreal says, hold up. We want to talk about this. Timeout. So far, we've seen a really incredible bout. A lot of good defense, a lot of good skating. Started off slow, but it feels like the skaters are getting their feet under them, and they're really starting to hit their stride. Having seen Montreal earlier this morning dominate on the lead jammer line and score with multiple scoring passes when they're lead jammer, interesting to see how arch rival has been able to slow them down a little bit, not let them get too many lead jammers and not let them get too many scoring passes even when they get lead jammer. Arch rival, on the other hand, taking a very interesting strategic approach, which is let's focus on scoring points early. No doubt thinking more about defense later, probably. Very interesting, and it's working out for them. It's 53-25 in favor of arch rival. So Montreal took that timeout, tried to get their breath, try to re-strategize so that they're ready. And here we go. Coming up to the line. So Loki Doki is there. White Bro Citrus is there. Loki Doki immediately finds the inside line. She is around. She is ready to score. The pivot for Arch is going into the box. In the meantime, Citrus is trying to push a three-wall. Cheese Grater figuring out how to break up this tri-wall to let him out. Does a really good job. Breaks enough to allow White Bro Citrus. Oh, whoa, EV, they are not giving up. EV with one last push to get White Bro Citrus out of bounds. Y was not happy, thinking, I don't think that should have been allowed. But EV, they did what they had to do. They're an atom smasher. EV. In the meantime, at the front of the pack, Loki Doki, who was our lead jammer, has been engaged with the pack and unable to get out. Just when the pivot comes back for Arch, the pivot's got to go back to the box. So Citrus still trying to get through that pack, getting bodied up. EV this time gets called for the penalty. They're headed to the box. In the meantime, as Citrus comes around, Loki Doki gets called for a penalty and is in the box. So they're signaling to Citrus like, hey, let's score some points. We got a chance here. It's still 53-25. And with the jammer in the box, we're going to go for the rest of this jam, which is a little more than 25 seconds. White Bro Citrus coming around, put 4 points on the board, and is looking for 4 more. Gets it. It's 53-33. Tightening that up. Here comes Loki Doki. Loki Doki ready to get back to scoring herself. She's engaged. She's powering through, but she's getting slowed down. Why, Bro Citrus? True to the outside. Picks up 4 more. Arch rival. Loki Doki gets through and picks up 4 more. And it's 57-37. The head ref today is Danger Muffin. We got M Power. We also got Caligari, Rex Support, Toxic Narcotic, Viva la Evolucion, Janice Joyce, and Heather. Thank you so much to our incredible officiating crew. They are doing such a good job of keeping things tight and close and everybody playing fair, right? Like Mr. Terrific would say, fair play. All right. So what do we got out there? What we got is Pork Chop. She's pushing to the front of the line. And in the back, MX Merrick is stonewalled by a tri-wall. Both of these skaters have been stopped in the track. Not a lot of action, not a lot of feet being churned right now. Pork Chop gets pushed, does a little turnaround. Vicious Van Gogh is trying to break her out of this stalemate. But it's going to force Pork Chop all the way to the back, to the starting line. Meanwhile, MX Merrick is battling arm in arm with the blockers of arch rival. Slaytoven's going to go to the bench because of that. Now, we got K-Woo just bodied up against Merrick. And here comes a great job from Bigley Smalls to come and give some momentum like the tush push in football that allows MX Merrick to get out and go. Wow, really incredible job there. It's 57-37 still on the scoreboard, but we are poised for some points from MX Merrick right here. Meanwhile, Pork Chop still hasn't been able to find their way out of, well, and oh, no, she didn't quite find the daylight quite yet. They slowed her down, but there she goes. She's out. MX Merrick has scored 4 points. Pork Chop is on their heels, and MX Merrick gets their hips around, picks up 2 more points before Pork Chop is able to pick up any. 57-43. The noose is tightening here, folks. Montreal has been able to kind of find their footing again and really get this thing close. So as we begin our next jam, Swanson and Gruesome Gracie are going head to head. There we go. She got the feet of a dancer. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's Gruesome Gracie. Meanwhile, Swanson not able to find their way out of the pack as of yet. Gracie engaging. Gracie saying to themselves, if we have a good jam, we could get this lead back. Here we go. Annie Swanson twirled to the ground, unable to make headway. Surge and the rest get up around and stop her. Annie Swanson going to have to go to the back, and that's going to be the jam. Another 4 points for Montreal, 57-51, as Montreal tightens it up with arch rival. We're going to take a break in action here for a minute because of how tight and contested this has been. All right. I know you're ready. I'm ready, too. Let's get back to it. Brick Tater versus Motley Crue. Brick Tater pushing against a very strong wall. Motley Crue out and keeps their feet in bounds. They are your lead jammer. Motley Crue helping to let Montreal reclaim the lead possibly here with this scoring pass. Let's see if they can get all the way through twice before Arch can get through once. Here we go. Motley Crue has been slowed down. They're in that starting box, but not able to get out. Meanwhile, Brick Tater lost all their powers, so to speak, huh? Not able to get out. They're going to say no need to cut the track on that one. So go ahead, Motley. 57-55. Here we go. With this scoring pass, Montreal can take the lead. Almost through, not quite. While that was happening, Brick Tater finally gets out. Brick Tater's coming around, going to force Motley to call it. How many are they going to give Motley? They're going to give Motley 3, which means we have a lead change, folks. It is 57 for our rival and 58 for Montreal. I believe that's our first lead change of the game. Montreal, holy cow. Mon Dieu, I believe that they say up there. I don't really speak the language, but, you know. Sacre bleu. All right, so arch rival is going to send Hart up against, for Montreal, White Bros Citrus. So, both are engaged. Hart thinking they can find the inside, but doesn't like what they see there, goes to the outside. Meanwhile, White Bros Citrus getting bodied up in the very center. Citrus pushing, not finding. Hart dancing, not finding. Hart to the front, Hart to the front, Hart around. Ooh, and just when a blocker was coming, Hart puts the extra push on. Hart is your lead jammer. Arch rival finally getting another lead jammer status in the last few jams. Getting the lead back. It is 61-58 in favor of arch rival because of your lead jammer. Ooh, Barracuda. It's Hart. Ooh, Hart gets a hard hit, goes to the ground and says, I got to call this. I got to call this. Arch rival jammer, Hart, they're pleading their case saying, I think I got a high block there, an elbow to the face. The refs say we'll talk about it, but we don't think we saw what you saw. At the end of the day, they're going to say it's 61-58 in favor of arch rival, and they're going to say let's play on. Loki Doki's going to come to the line for arch rival, I believe, and MX Merrick is going to come to the line for Montreal. But the officials say, hold on, we want to talk this over. Again, they were given some information that they want to talk quickly about and review. So, as we begin, Loki Doki going up against MX Merrick. Loki Doki spinning her way on the inside. Little ballerina move. Okie dokie, Loki Doki. Making their way around turn 4, engaging in the pack. Getting a couple of hits, bodied up a little bit, but turning their feet. Meet me in St. Louis. Loki coming around that turn 4, scoring, plugging up the lead, 68-58. Here comes MX Merrick. They're being slowed down by this tough tri-wall. So has Loki Doki. Both teams chomping down on defense for a moment. Good rotation over by the defense of Newskiz, just when it looked like Loki would have an open lane to the outside. In the meantime, there was a star pass. Merrick passes it off to Traz. Traz is around that track. Traz is going to force the hand of Loki Doki. Loki Doki says, all right, I see what you're doing here. I'm going to call this off. Right now, they're going to say it's 72-58 in favor of arch rival. We have just under 5 minutes left in this half. This half has flown by. Not a lot of stoppages of time in this first half. Both teams really eating up the clock with some really incredible jams. But we're going to get an official review. We're going to get no, it's just a timeout here. Timeout from what I hear is Montreal. All right, so we're getting ready to play. As we mentioned, Swanson is going to go up against Mermad. We just got a quick update about that timeout. The officials were reviewing because Montreal thought there was a high block against Jam from arch rival, but they said there was not enough evidence to overturn the no call on the field. All right, so Swanson able to get out ahead, get lead jammer status, kind of work their way through. Swanson snaking their way around, coming around turn 4, looking to pad the lead. Meanwhile, Mermad just hasn't been able to get out of that pack. It's 76-58 so far. Here comes Swanson pushing. Ooh! That Trax able to come in with a strong hit, but gets Swanson to the ground, slows it down. But unfortunately, Mermad not able to take advantage by getting out of that pack and getting around that track. So Mermad still on the inside, not able to make too much of a move, is working their way toward the center. Trax is down and looks like they're a little shaken up. They're going to call, oh, that was the end of the jam. They're going to call that jam. It's over. Trax up on their feet. Okay. She's skating toward the bench. Maybe got a little bit of a bell rung or anything, but we'll keep an eye out. So far, we haven't had any too devastating injuries here. Thank God, knock on wood. I knock on my teeth. They're not necessarily wood, but they're close enough. All right, Brick Tater is going to be jamming for Montreal. Oh, hold. Nobody's going to be jamming for nothing. We're getting a timeout. We're getting an official timeout. Hold on a second. Right now it's 80-58 with the official timeout. That was great. Thank you all so much. All right, it's 80-58. We're about to resume. We're at the very end of the last 3 minutes or so of the half. Brick Tater's going up against Motley Crude. Brick Tater immediately springing out on the inside track and around turn 2. There's your lead jammer. Brick Tater looking to pad the lead. Meantime, Motley Crude, they've been pushed to the back. They're coming around turn 4 to restart this jam for themselves and are not able to find what they're looking for. Brick Tater coming around. Brick Tater skating their way through. Brick Tater, woo, pirouetting. Looking beautiful. Here, the fearless leader. Brick Tater putting up points after points. It's 88-58. 30-point game. That's incredible. Brick Tater bobbing and weaving, turning people around. Meanwhile, Motley Crue, they're trying everything they can. They got the star in their hand just in case they see a star pass. But Monge is the pivot, and Monge ain't nowhere near them. So they're going to have to, Monge, just when I say that, Monge makes their way back. Eat my shorts. They've got the star now, and they're going to try to get themselves out of the pack. Brick Tater coming around turn 4, gets forced out, is going to start in the back. They don't want to get a cut to track, not at this point, 96-58. Really great jam as we head into the 2 minutes of the half. Both of these teams playing hard, but right now the advantage clearly going to arch rival, doing a better job of getting out and getting into clean air. Monge has the star in their hands, but is unable to push back the tri-wall of arch rival. She's turning her feet, but just not finding what she's looking for. Almost made it to the outside, but they regrouped. Oh, they thought they could get Monge to the outside. They couldn't. Monge stayed inbounds. That's the end of the bout, regardless. 99-58 in favor of arch rival. Arch is really starting to pad that lead. Oh, pardon me. They're going to put it all the way up to 100. 100-58. We're in the very end of the half here. Last minute. We got one jam. Let's see what else we'll get. Y Bro Citrus is going up against Hart. These are two great jammers. Let's see who could close out the half strong. Y Bro Citrus tiptoeing and spinning. No need for scurvy. Y Bro Citrus. Y Bro Citrus coming around, but Hart, like a bat out of hell, is coming quickly. Hart was digging deep and skating as fast as you could skate on 4 wheels. And you know what? It was able to call it, forced Citrus to call it early. Citrus only picking up 2 points. It's 100-60. You got to tip your hat to Hart. They got down in the squat position and turned their feet, forcing the early call, not allowing New Skids to pick up very many points on there, only 2. All right, we're going to take a timeout here, talk some things over. Arch rival sending out a manager. Arch thought that the jammer for Montreal might have made a cut track on their initial pass, but they believed otherwise, the refs. So there are no call for that. MX Merrick gets out ahead, coming around turn 4. They are your lead jammer. But right on their heels is Loki Doki. Loki Doki coming quick, forcing MX to call it. They're going to give a few points to Montreal, 100-63 to end the half. So we saw a first half in 3 acts, I believe. Act 1, arch rival getting out to a lead. Act 2, Montreal closing that gap. And Act 3, arch rival getting back out to the big lead. 100-63 as we hit the halftime. We have a 15-minute intermission here. We'll be back with you all shortly. Don't go anywhere because this second half promises to be incredibly action-packed. So we're ready for our second half. Incredible bout. Arch rival, 100. Montreal, 63. That first half was arch rival doing a great job of getting lead jammer status consistently at the beginning and at the end. Really being able to lock down Montreal skaters. There was a moment there in the center where Montreal was able to get out, get some points, but unfortunately, they weren't able to sustain that through the whole first half. I think they're going to be making some second half adjustments to get their jammers into some clean air. To start, we're going to see one of their top jammers, Rybro Citrus, coming up against the line. And they're going to be going against Swanson. And we're off to start this second half. Swanson is on the outside, can't find what they're looking for. So is Bro Citrus. Both of these skaters hoping to get a little bit of that outside track, and it works for Swanson. TV dinner meal. Swanson coming around nice and piping hot. Meanwhile, White Bro Citrus can't find the squeeze. White Bro playing a little defense there. Almost able to find the inside track, but not quite able to make it out. They're going to call a penalty, firearm, I believe it was, against Ann Swanson. Swanson's in the box. That's going to give an opportunity for us to see 2 minutes of roller derby and to see Bro Citrus coming around for some points on their own. Bro Citrus finding the inside. Ooh, couldn't hit the hole fast enough. They closed that gap on the inside around turn 1, stopping Bro Citrus from getting out into clean air. As this thing has gummed up, this lets Swanson out of the box and into the microwave, so to speak. And here comes Swanson around turn 4 and engaging with the tri-wall. Gets some good momentum to push the tri-wall and kind of break up the hold, but ultimately not able to find clean air, gets looped back around. There goes Citrus scoring 4 points. It's 100-67 in favor of arch rival. Swanson is battling on the outside and finding their way through, but unable to find any clean room. Is slowed down by low rider before ultimately being let go. That's 4 points for Swanson. It's 104-67. Coming around to engage with the pack. Ooh, ending up on the hips. Back up quickly, back through quickly. 4 more points for Swanson. In the meantime, Bro Citrus just not able to find a way out. Not able to pick up more than additional 3 points. It's 108-70 in favor of the arch rivals. MX Merrick is going to be jamming, I should say, and Brick Tater is going to be jamming for arch rival. So arch rival automatically to the front, moving very quickly. Brick Tater, woo, 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 Brick Tater. Incredible moves from the outside into the inside. That should lead jammer, Brick Tater. Hail that fearless leader. Meanwhile, MX Merrick is trying to make a star pass to Mange, but can't make it happen. Brick Tater through for 4 more points. MX Merrick being pulled to the back. Star in hand. MX Merrick turning those feet. Ooh, loses the balance slightly and gets forced out of bounds on the inside, right to the back again. That's going to call off the jam. And it's 112-70. Pardon me, 114-70 in favor of arch rival. Wowzee, wowza. All right. We got number 89, Hart. They're going to be up there playing the music. And number 5, 6, 7, 8, Gracie Gruesome Gracie is going to be dancing to it. Gracie, nothing on the inside. Hart, nothing on the inside for them either. Gracie powering through the center. Gets slowed down just as she gets to the front of the pack. Wow, Trax is up there trying to really break it up for Gracie. Trying their best, but not able to break them free. Meanwhile, Hart hasn't been able to get off that inside line and gets forced out, and they get forced cycle around. Hart comes with the quickness and the speed while everyone was sleeping. Hart is out. Hart is around. Magic hands, the magic feet. Hart engaged. Hart, the spark of energy. Coming around, scoring. Wow, wow, wow. Hart is really taking it to them on this one. Playing possum, I think, at first. Meanwhile, for Montreal, Gruesome Gracie was not able to get, I'm just going to call her Gracie for a little while, able to make the star pass now. Trask has the star coming around, turn 4, trying to put the pressure on Hart to call it. Hart calls it. Hart has a nice little subtle way that they like to call it, but they know exactly when to call it. 122-70 is the score. dominant jam for Arch Rival. Loki Doki's going to start for Arch Rival, and White Bro Citrus is going to start for Montreal. We got no one in the box. We got all our jammers, all our skaters, all our pivots out there. But Montreal is going to call a quick timeout after they see the alignment, the configuration, and who they're going up against, because they want to have a conversation as a team, make sure that they're ready. This is going to turn into an official review, and as soon as we have an update from the officials as to what the review is about, we will give you an update. So that official review is because Montreal thought there was a high block from the jammer from Arch for Hart, but they say no call needed. There was no high block. Ooh, Loki Doki. Speaking of penalties against jammers, Loki Doki's in the box for cut the track. That's going to leave White Bro Citrus out there. This gives the opportunity, if White Bro Citrus can get out of this pack, to get around that track and score without anyone else on the track with her, jammer-wise. Unfortunately, White Bro Citrus not able to take advantage of it so far. Got pulled to the back on turn 4, engaged with the pack, trying to see if they can get out of there, but right now, unable to get out of there. And just like that, that was quick, wasn't it? Loki Doki back out of the box. Loki Doki coming around turn 4 with a head of steam. Loki Doki slipping and dipping, not able to make it around the outside, gets forced to the back. We have just about a minute left in this jam, and we don't have a lead jammer. Here we go. Oh, White Bro Citrus trying to make their way in the outside. Couldn't get it done. Going to be cycled back to the behind. Loki Doki coming back on the track around turn 3. She's battling. She's pushing. She is about to get past Surge. And there you go. Loki Doki. Not your lead jammer because she went to the box, but through and able to score now. Past the jammer, that doesn't count as a point, but engaging with the blockers. Loki Doki looking to pad the Arch Rival lead. Meanwhile, they are unable to get Bro Citrus out of that pack. Bro Citrus trying the apex jump on turn 4. They are going to give it to her. No, they are not. They're going to call it cut the track. So, Bro Citrus trying a desperation move. Goes to the box. There's the last seconds of the jam. We went the full 2 minutes. 126 to 71 in favor of Arch Rival. Wow, that was a rough jam. There was penalties, a lot of being pulled back and back and back. Both of these teams are grinning and bearing it. So, what we're going to have is Pass the Applesauce Pork Chop Sandwich coming up against on their own. And there she goes, your lead jammer, Pork Chop Sandwich, coming around, engaging. Wow, really, really tough skating from Pork Chop. They're coming around, they're going to engage as well. Skating their way through, get forced out on the inside. Back around, finding another inside lane, but it gets shut down. Slowing down Pork Chop. Meanwhile, Citrus came out of there, and she looks like a monkey trying to grab a coconut out of a tree, the way she's jumping around and flailing those arms. She is mad. She is energized. She wants to get out from this tri-war. Maron. White Bro Citrus trying their best. Meanwhile, at the front, they were able to push Pork Chop out, pulled Pork Chop back to the back. Pork Chop battling her way through, able to pick up her 4 points. Great job from Pork Chop. Bro Citrus is still fighting hard. Incredible heart that we're seeing from White Bro Citrus. You know, she played earlier this morning, and then she helped to coach in the second game that Sexpos played. But she doesn't want to hear it. She wants to be tough, and she wants to play derby. It's 136 to 71. Are they giving any more points out? No, they got all those points. 136-71 in favor of arch rival. You saw two gutsy performances by those jammers there. Really impressive stuff. As we approach 20 minutes left in this half, we have MX Merrick versus Swanson. Swanson toward the front, gets slowed down just slightly. Cheese grater, but has to let Swanson go. Meanwhile, MX Merrick really battling hard, bodying up, put the shouldering into it, but not able to get out of that pack. Here comes arch rivals jammer Swanson. She's engaged with the pack. She's pushing the pack. They are going to have to put a bridge back to keep this pack together. Unfortunately, MX Merrick is not able to make any headway on their side. They look to the inside, wasn't able to get there. Ooh, took a spill. Wepa, right on the turn 2. Everybody's going backwards, folks. It's like we're draining down in Australia. It's going the opposite way. Some backwards derby. I think I'm going to lose my lunch. I'm getting dizzy watching it. There we go. All right, we're ready to start going forward. Huh? No, not yet for Ann Swanson. MX Merrick's ready to go forward, but Ann Swanson had to go so far back, her shoes were out of style. Here we go. They're back engaged. Right now, Merrick's at the front of the pack. Swanson's at the back. And Swanson making some headway on the inside up to turn 4, but then gets slowed down. This pack is about to break up, and there it goes. Swanson through. Swanson scoring 140-71. MX Merrick fighting, pushing, digging deep, but not able to find the light through the tunnel. Are they going to call? No. For a second there, they look. Back block on, yes, they are. Back block on Swanson. Swanson going to the bench. Not going to get the 4 points that they had picked up. Sitting on the bench, 140-71 as we come to the last 5 seconds of this jam. Merrick going backwards. Merrick. MX Merrick was never able to pick up any points there. Arch rival is essentially doubled, 140-71. The Montreal New Skids on the block. So despite some troubles like going to the box, arch rival still able to dominate. Oh, you could hear the arch rival is not liking the block and the back call against their jammer, hearing it from the bench to the refs. Anyway, we're going to start this one with just one jammer, Motley Crude. They are fighting hard. They are on the inside. They are coming up the center. They are back on the inside. They are back in the center. Wow, there is a lot going on. There are bodies everywhere. They were able to seal the outside edge, and that lets Motley Crue through. There they go. Turn 3, turn 4. Motley Crue's going to look for some more. Motley Crue tiptoeing the inside. Got it. Go around, go around. Motley Crue is scoring. 142-75. We got Ann Swanson back on the track. Your TV dinner is ready. Here comes Ann Swanson. Having it first forced Crude to call it. Crude had to call that off. Didn't get any more points. 142-75. So, small headway made, but not what they were looking for, considering they started the jam with Arch's jammer in the box. If you're Montreal, you want a little bit more than that. You want a little bit more than that. White Bro Citrus is back out there. She was skating like a bat out of hell her last jam when she came off the box, so you know she got all the energy. Brick Tater's up there saying, follow my lead, and is pushing against the tri-wall as the jammer for arch rival. As they both jam from the inside to the outside, back to the inside, neither is able to find a way to get through. With that, they're both going to be slid to the back. Now what we have here, arch rival on the outside, arch rival finds it. Arch rival's getting around the track as your lead jammer. Here comes arch rival to the 4, into the straightaway. Arch rival. Meanwhile, White Bro Citrus just isn't able to get out of that pack. Just not the same success rate that we saw earlier in the day from Wybro Citrus. Arch rival really being able to slow her down, though she is fighting valiantly. It's not an easy word to say. So, here we go. Brick Tater got cycled to the back, coming in, hitting hard, hitting tough, pushing. No, not able to make it through. Cycling back around, cycling back around. Meanwhile, Bro Citrus, she hasn't been able to get out. We're under 40 seconds left in this jam. It's 142 to 76. There goes Brick Tater. There goes the 4 points. 146 to 76 in favor of Arch Rival. Ooh, try to get through that apex. Didn't quite make it for Brick Tater. She laughs it off and says, I'll try it again when I get another chance. Here comes Wybro Citrus coming through. And with that, the jam will be called. It's 150 to 76 in favor of Arch Rival. Really being able to control the game. And every time Montreal seems to get a few points on the board, Arch Rival's right back where they started. Dominating the jam line, huh? So Hart's going to get back out there, along with Gruesome Gracie. Hart trying the inside right away through Hart. There you go. Your lead jammer. Hart coming around turn 4. Hart engaging with the tri-wall. It's going to slow down for a minute and is turning their feet. No. Gets past Monge and scores their 4-point. Meanwhile, the star pass made to Monge. EV trying to slow Monge down. Monge is out. It's going to force the hand of Hart. Hart trying to battle through, goes down, is not able to call it, gets back up and says, all right, well, let's keep battling then. Hart cycles to the back, has no interest in calling this jam yet, wants to see if they get 4 more points. As we're pushing and we're shoving, Hart finds their way to the outside, gets their 4 points. Monge is still stuck in the middle with you. Hart, once again, able to find that outside line, scoring 4 more points. This is a huge jam from Hart. This is why she didn't call it earlier when Maj was coming around. She's trading 4 points for 12. Hart through again. Ooh, one last block, but able to make it through. Here comes Maj. She scores her 4. Here comes Hart. They're looking to score more. It's the last 23 seconds of the bout. No one's going nowhere. And there you go. That's all Hart needed to see. They wanted another couple of points. That was a huge jam. 18-point jam from Hart. 168 to 84, doubling up on Montreal. That was a huge jam. All right, MX Merrick is going to be going up against Loki Doki. And at this point, as we get toward the 11-minute mark in the half, MX is looking to make a splash. So, we got Loki battling. She's turned sideways, but turning her feet and still somehow making progress. Fighting up against a very tough third wall. It's starting to separate. They're going to have to let her go shortly. Ooh. They got Loki on her feet, on her knees. She got back up, got back in the lead. Loki, Doki, Annie, Oakley. MX Merrick finally got out of that pack. Coming around, gonna try to put some pressure on Loki to call it. Loki getting their hips around, but decides not to call it yet. Engaging. At this point in the game, I think Arch Rival is saying, like they did at the beginning of the game, let's not call these things off. Let's score some points and eat some clock, huh? So Merrick is completely stuck behind a 3-wall, unable to make any progress. Loki Doki around scoring points. Merrick was begging for some teammates to come. They came back. They helped to loosen things up. but not enough to get MX through. Meanwhile, Loki Doki's skating around like it's Adult Swim over here and there's no kids around. It's 176 to 84 in favor of arch rival as we get to the last 30 seconds of this particular jam. There goes Merrick. Merrick scoring. And right behind him is Loki scoring 4 more points and then calling it. The scoreboard ticks up to 180 to 88. An arch rival firmly in control. They're going to send Mermad for Montreal and Pork Chop Sandwich for arch rival. Until arch rival decides to make a call here. They want to talk to the refs about something. We'll get you the updates on what this official review is and what the results were after the refs have made their decision. In this particular case, arch rival thought there was a destruction of the pack on Montreal. In other words, they were not keeping the pack close enough together. They said no call will stand. They didn't see any evidence. None of the refs saw any evidence that that was an intentional case or that the pack had been destroyed by Montreal. So we'll go on. As we mentioned, Pork Chop Sandwich versus Wybro Citrus. All right, so we're off. And both jammers moving fast. The pack moving a little quickly itself, actually. Making some headway. We're already at turn 1. No lead jammer yet. Wybro Citrus, though, is getting pulled back. In the meantime, Pork Chop is up against that outside line on turn 1 and is going to get first to be recycled around. All right, trying their best. No, nothing there. Both these skaters going from the inside to the outsides, trying every lane that they can, just not finding what they're looking for quite yet. It's a lot of action, a lot of quick bursts of movement from all the skaters out there, and then it resets back into the traditional tri-wall. Cheese Grater's trying to figure out, how do I break up this tri-wall in a way that'll free Wybro Citrus, but hasn't found the right angle. In the meantime, in the back, that tri-wall has shut down Pork Chop Sandwich, and Sandwich is trying to get a little bit of leverage with the hips that maybe they could force their way out of this. As both teams stuck on turn 1, what started as a fast-paced bout has slowed to a practical standstill as we hit the 45-second mark of the jam. Arch rival had a blocker in the box who's been released and who is making trouble immediately on the track. In the meantime, at the front has made their way Pork Chop Sandwich, and they're coming around ready to score. Really incredible stuff. Bided her time until it was just right and then made her move. Really key play from Pork Chop Sandwich. Meanwhile, Wybro Citrus unable to find anything on that outside and is getting cycled back around. That's going to be the end of that jam. 2 points for arch rival. We went all 2 minutes, I believe, right? And we got 2 points out of it, huh? Well, it is what it is. 182 to 88. We're going to get Swanson against, I believe it's Motley Crue down there. Yeah. All right, Crude finding the inside, nothing there. Finding the outside, nothing there. Tiptoeing, but not being able to make it. Meanwhile, Swanson, finds that inside lane. There you go. That's your lead jammer. It's Swanson. Swanson is coming around and is engaging. Swanson getting pushed to the knees, but back up and pushing out the blockers. Meanwhile, in the back, Crude trying to figure out a way out, and even with the help of a teammate is not able to break out of this tri-wall. Annie Swanson is through. The film is off of the meal, and you're ready to eat. Annie Swanson coming around, getting engaged. There goes Crude. Crude is finally out of the pack. Crude's going to come around. Let's see how arch rival responds to her engaging the pack. They're going to call it. Annie Swanson calling it. after a hard-fought battle to pick up multiple scoring passes. It's 190 to 88 in favor of arch rival. We're coming up on 6 minutes here left in the bout. Things have slowed down a little bit, but at the end of the day, arch rival continues to impose their will. Here comes Montreal. They're going to call it time. Montreal will have a slight advantage as arch rival has one blocker in the box to begin this next jam. Mermad will be jamming for Montreal, trying to get that lead jammer status. Who is that over there? Is that Brick Tater for St. Louis? Yeah, it's Brick Tater. All right, so Brick Tater pushing that pack. Incredible work. Getting to the front, being held up by Trags, but is able to push around. Booby Punch and Trags were slowing Brick Tater down, but at the end of the day, had to let it go. She's around. She's your lead jammer. Tell me if you heard that before today. Brick Tater, your lead jammer. She gets pushed out of bounds on the outside, comes back around. In the meantime, at the front of the pack, Mermad has gotten held up, is making small but steady progress, but not able to get out of the pack. Cheese Grater Tracks flying around to try to get in front of Brick Tater. Too little, too late. Brick Tater back around, scoring. Incredible work from Brick Tater. She got the energy out there and the legs as if this is the first bout she's been in all day. Guess what? Because it was. Meanwhile, perhaps fatigue has been setting in with Montreal, this being their second bout of the day. I'm not saying that it wasn't well earned. I'm just saying. Here comes arch rival. Here comes Brick Tater coming around turn 4 and engaging the track. Ooh, look at that smooth move, Ferguson, but didn't quite work out. Having to go back around. She almost shoulder juked the defense there, but it didn't quite work. Meanwhile, Mermad unable to make headway, unable to make a start pass, make it out of the box, the blocks, kind of ground to a halt on Montreal's side. They're searching for answers, but they're not coming up with any. That's the end of that jam. It is 205 to 88. And as we have just under 4 minutes left to play, arch rival in firm control and looking to just pour on some points, because remember in WFTDA derby play, points are important, right? Point differential important. So they're going to keep pushing. Montreal says, well, we might as well use our last timeout. If you're going to give them to us, we're going to use them. They ain't going to do us no good on the plane ride home, right? All right, we're ready to resume play here. Okay, Merrick. Oh, pushing fast and pushing hard. Merrick coming hard, coming fast. There they go. Pushing those feet. X gonna give it to you. MX Merrick coming out of that pack alive. Lead jammer. Meanwhile, Hart was slow to get out, but now that they are out, they are going fast, and they are coming around the track. At this point in the bout, it's about racking up points for both teams. So that's what they're going to be focusing on. Ooh, Hart tried to do an apex jump, didn't land it. Sent to the box for cutting the track because of it, right? So here we go. Here comes MX Merrick trying to make something of it on the inside. Oh, finds that inside lane, picks up those 4 points. 205 to 92. Under 2.5 minutes left to play. Merrick directing some traffic a little bit, finding their way to the front of the pack, but being slowed down. Hart is in the box. Hart is being released. All right, now they're going to trade places because MX Eric just got called for a penalty and is going to sit for a few seconds themselves. Hart, there they go. Now they've completed that jump. Great job coming around. Engaging, juking, back and forth. Ooh, not able to make the pass on the outside. Gonna turn around and go backwards. Here comes arch rival. Here comes Hart. They're gonna slow things down for a minute and regroup. Last 10 seconds of this jam. MX Merrick back out of the box. 4 more points for Hart, and that's the end of this jam. 213 to 92. What started out as a very positive jam for Montreal ended in arch rival able to take advantage. They put 4 more points on for Montreal, so it's 213-96. All right, so Loki Doki and Motley Crude. This could be the last jam of this bout. So both jammers fighting hard, trying to find, not able to find an inside or outside lane respectively. Loki Doki comes turning around fast, tiptoeing, not quite able to make it, but stayed enough to engage with the pack. Now, while this is happening, Motley Crude is in the front, and it's just getting stonewalled. She's got to hurl a brick or something. In the meantime, Loki Doki tried the inside and got slowed down right at the apex. Got cycled to the outside, and now is back inside, and now is pushing this strong tri-wall, but is not able to make headway. We're about to get the end of the pack here in a moment, but a valiant effort. We really got to tip our hats to the defensive play of Montreal on this one. You got Surge, you got Trax. We'll give you who else was in this tripod for just a moment here. It was Lau Ryder. All 3 of them doing a valiant effort on that defense to slow down. This is the last jam of the game as we are past the clock, but we still have time on the jam clock. The game clock is done. So, Loki coming back around, trying to put some more points on the board. Crude still pushing through. Gallant effort from Crude. Loki Doki on the ground, Loki Doki up, Loki Doki. Wow, this is incredible defense. You got to tip your hat to Montreal. They clamped down right at the end. Now, she was able to find a way through the outside of the track, picking up the point, but there goes Lee Jammer. It's 213-96. Loki Doki coming through. Now, once again, bodied up by Surge. I mean, it's just incredible defense from both of these teams in this last jam. 213-96 is going to be your score, most likely. As we end, no, they're going to give 2 more points to arch rival. 215-96, it looks like, is going to be your score. Incredible work from both teams. Real incredible work from arch rival and their jammers. Stay tuned. We're going to go on mute for a minute. We're going to get the MVPs for both teams and come back to you to let you know who they are. All right, here's your MVPs as nominated by the other team. For Montreal, it's MX Merrick as the jammer and Booby Puncher as the blocker. And for arch rival, it's Hart as the jammer. And EVE was the most valuable blocker for arch rival. All right, thank you all so much. Don't go nowhere because in a little more than 20 minutes, we got your marquee matchup. The Gotham All-Stars will be taking the field to play Minnesota All-Stars. We'll be back in a few. Thank you all so much.